It's time once again for the Kennett Indians Coaches Show as we are joined by Kennett Indian head football coach Joel Wyatt. And Coach, a wild start to the game last Friday night, but things settled down and the Indians pulled away for a big 49-13 win over the St. Genevieve Dragons last Friday here at Metz Cherry Stadium.
Yeah, Perry, we got off to a really good start. The kickoff return was big for us. One of those things where you see something on film and you just hope that you get that opportunity like you had seen on film. And we had it set up to where Bodie would catch it and sell the return for a couple steps and then throw it across the field to Jordan. And then we kind of had a little three-man wall set up over there. So we just figured if Bodie could catch it, he was going to make a good throw, and then Jordan was going to do the rest. And sure enough, that's the way it worked.
Jordan's dangerous when you get him in open field, but the pass was right on the money. Had to be a lateral, or it blows the whole play up.
Yes.
So you guys worked it to perfection last Friday night.
We did, and that's one where we really worked it for 3 days. So I think the kids had confidence with it, and Bodie ran up there, and we made sure Jordan, hey, make sure you are behind. This is legal, and in fact, it worked Friday night probably better than a couple times in practice. So it was really cool to see.
It makes the opponents you play, they always have to be aware of that, and it may affect the way that they design their kickoff coverage.
Sure. We run our starburst return as well, where we've got multiple fakes going on there. And, we've seen teams in the past that we play every year. They've just stopped kicking to us, but that in turn usually gives us good field position too.
Well, the Dragons got the ball after that opening touchdown. First play from scrimmage, a nice pass over the middle. The ball was stripped out and it bounces right up into the hands of one of their other receivers who takes it into the end zone. When that happens as a coach or as a team, what kind of goes through your head?
Well, they caught us kind of with our pants down, so to speak. They put the tight end there to tackle position. They had a trips formation out there. Well, we didn't notice that the tackle was eligible and wearing I think a 28 number, and he went right down the seam and wide open. Owen Ross made a great hustle play to strip it from behind, and then it bounced right up into another guy. So well designed by St. Gen, and they got a little Sunday hop right up to the guy and give them credit for having a little trick of their own.
Well, then they hold the Kennett offense, and you have to punt, was that the first punt of the season?
I think you're right. I think
First
it was.
punt of the season comes in the first quarter of Game 3.
Yeah, and that goes back to a holding penalty. You can't get behind the chains. And we had a holding penalty on a long run by Jordan, and then we tried a little screen, and then we were just forced to punt it right off the bat. But yeah, first time all year.
Well, it didn't take long. Jordan Jarrett, when the Indians got the ball back, you hold St. Genevieve, you get the ball back, and Jordan Jarrett goes in. Second touchdown of the first quarter, and from there it was just really Kennett the rest of the way through the contest.
Yeah, we had a good drive there, a good mixture of Jordan and Daniel Boatman, and then that got us right back to a touchdown lead, and we kind of found out what we could run there and what we hoped we could run, and we did a good job executing on our buck sweep.
Well, again, you see Bodie Ellis taking it in for one of those touchdowns. So opponents really have to be aware of your quarterback, not only throwing but able to run the ball. Then Jordan Jarrett with his third touchdown of the half. You go in 28-6 at the half, and you have to feel a lot better at that point in the ball game.
We did. I would have liked to have scored there at the end of the half when we had a fourth down play, and then we hit Tanner Duncan across. He was short of a first down. There was a penalty anyway, but we would like to have scored there. But yeah, we felt pretty good. I know Coach Webster was a little disappointed in giving up a score because the varsity hadn't been scored on yet, so he was a little bit disappointed. But I was glad that we had to show up. St. John came to play. They're a very young team. I think last week on your show, I think I said they had 17 or 18 seniors in 2019. Well, then I read some articles where they had 23.
Wow.
So, and then on this year's team, they only had 6. So they're going through some growing pains. They're going to be back next year, and I thought they came ready to play, and it was a good test for us, knowing that we had to play for more than a half.
A lot of ball games are decided, or the momentum in the second half anyway, on what happens to who gets the ball first and what happens in that series. And the Indians came out defensively, and J.T. Williams with a big interception. And then, at that point on, Daniel Boatman got into the ball game, and he did his thing with a couple of more touchdowns, and the ball game was essentially over at that point.
Yeah, JT had a great game back there at safety. Just not just in coverage, but running the alley, being where he's supposed to be. He's just gotten better and better each week, and we're gonna need that going into Caruthersville. But Daniel's been in 3 ball games. Hey, Daniel's been steady, coming there to give Jordan a breather. Man, for 140 pounds, he runs bigger than that. You look at him and you think he's just quick. But, man, for 140 pounds, he'll lower his shoulders. He runs behind his pads well. And he's just off to a great start.
Well, Jordan Jarrett, again, your workhorse, had over 100 yards in the contest, 14 carries for Jordan.
Yeah, he's been solid, just like we said, preseason. 900 yards last year in basically a backup role. So we've expected big things from him, and he's going to be one of the best athletes on the field every Friday night. Well, what we were a little bit disappointed in is we couldn't get him out there on defense. Stomach was bothering him a little bit, and then I think he got winded from the opening kickoff return, and it took him a while to catch his second wind. And that's the first time, and probably since he was I don't even know if this happened as a freshman, where he didn't get any defensive reps. So we've got to get him back and being able to play on both sides of the ball.
I didn't know if Jordan may have been cramping up a little bit there in the second half too. I could tell he wasn't himself even coming off the field.
Yeah, his was a little different than Tanner was cramping in your calf area like most cramps, but Jordan had some stomach issues.
Well, fullback Jake Stewart got into the mix, and 40 yards, 3 carries, and that's a big part of the offense when the defense has to respect that fullback and carrying the football.
Yeah, Stu, he's just such a blue collar, workman-like guy. He does all the lead blocking or pinning the defensive end, and I was wanting him to get in down there when he broke that trap down there to about the 3, and then he got stuffed. But man, he just does so much of the dirty work, and it was nice to see him get loose on that long run.
What a lot of people don't realize, but when a Daniel Boatman or a Jordan Jarrett has a good run, a lot of times they're running right behind Jake Stewart and his blocking.
Oh yeah, and also Daniel and Jordan are coming in for each other. Stu stays in. I mean, he's got great stamina. He's just got great will, and he's not coming off the field hardly. He never is on defense, and just a little bit on offense. But he's in great shape, and he does a great job lead blocking.
Well, again, Bodie Ellis with a nice game, his ability to run the ball, throw the ball, but also his experience in knowing when to keep it, throw it, or just throw it away and maybe play for the next down. As you being the play caller out there to your quarterback, it's great to know you have that senior out there with all of that football knowledge and experience.
Yeah, I don't have his numbers after 3 games in front of me, but he's just off to a real solid start. His completion percentage is up, like we had hoped it would be. And the two incompletions he did have, I thought our receivers, didn't run their best routes. And I thought Bodie put it in the right spot where he anticipated they were going to be. But he's doing a great job throwing the football, and then I mean he's a load in the open field. He's a 200-pound kid, and a lot of those 140, 150-pound DBs don't want to tackle him, and so he got 83 yards running the football, and he's got a really good feel for what we're doing back there and carrying out his fake. So he's off to a great senior year.
Well, Tanner Duncan, another big night, over 75 yards, 4 catches with a tight end, and that's another big part of your offense.
Yeah, great hands. Showed a little bit of speed too on the bubble when he got down the sideline, and he's a weapon for us. What people don't see is he's gotten better in the run game. Last year he would have some blown assignments where he would go the wrong way. Instead of blocking down, he'd block out, or he'd step with the wrong foot. His blocking has really gotten better.
Camden Pritchett, 7 of 7 last Friday. Those extra points are so important, and you can just ask those teams that may not have a reliable kicker on their squad, and they have to go for 2 all the time.
We talked about this last week, and then Dustin Ward asked me the same thing, and that's just a credit to Cam. He's just come out here in the summer with footballs and got his own portable tee, and just put the work in. Last year he was, if I remember right, he was below 50%, and he's right now he's I want to say 17 for 18, and that one miss got blocked. So he's 17 for 18, and he's just done an outstanding job.
Well, Jake Stewart snapping, and Riley Spencer doing the hold. Those 2 guys, if they don't do their part, it doesn't go through the upright either.
Yeah, exactly. And we preach, hey, the PAT, it's a team thing too. The kicker gets all the glory, or he gets all the criticism if he misses. But it's a team thing, and we've done a good job.
Well, the Indians go on the road this week to take on the Caruthersville Tigers. We'll talk about that game when the Kennett Indians Coaches Show continues right after this. Perry Jones along with Kennett Indian head football coach Joel Wyatt as we continue with the Kennett Indians Coaches Show. And Coach, you go on the road this week to take on the Caruthersville Tigers, who are now 2-1 on the season. Their only loss coming in an opening week, a loss at Sykeston. And your teams and Coach Jimmy Jackson's teams have met more than just a few times over the years, and those great Malden teams that you had and recently here at the helm at Kennett, and of course the success and tradition they've had over at Caruthersville. At this point, both of you coaches know each other pretty well in your tendencies.
We sure do. Probably better than any opponent on our schedule. There when he took over for Coach Morgan in 2014, we played twice in 14, twice in 15, twice in 16. So yeah, we've played a bunch of times, and that you're always going to get some guys with speed, some athletes, and usually going to have a dual threat quarterback. It's going to be tough to handle, and this year's no exception.
Well, Devin Russell, their quarterback, has some experience, much like Bodie Ellis. He's been in that system over there for a couple of years now, and like you mentioned, always some speed at the skill positions. Now, of course, Coach Jackson, a great running back at Caruthersville, then went on to play that position at Mizzou. But now Coach Jackson doesn't mind throwing the football around when he's calling his offensive plays.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty balanced run pass. They're always going to be in a spread formation, always going to be in the shotgun. Always going to have that quarterback that you got to stay in your rush lanes when they are throwing the football, because Russell can tuck it and just run with it. They've got the Cobb kid is probably their most athletic, and then
I saw him in a wildcat formation a few times against Donovan.
Yes, and so that's a little bit of a wrinkle, and Cobb's not just back there to run it; he's thrown it before as well. And then they got the Hollywood kid, number 30, that's again, he's got good hands, and he can run the ball when he's back there in the single back. And then the Tillman kid, who seems like he's been playing forever. And I know he got hurt against Mountain Grove, but man, he's got some jets. And you got those three right there, and they're a handful.
Well, the Tigers are a little different type team than you saw last week with St. Genevieve. Maybe a bigger team that would you would think would like to pound it at you. Caruthersville, even though they will sometimes have some big bodies up front, it's that speed that you always worry about with the Tigers.
Oh, every year they've always got a home run threat, whether it's running the jet or running a screen or just throwing a deep ball, running the speed option with. They've always got some guy that can go 80 yards, and before you know it, they've put 7 on the board.
But what are you looking for after 3 weeks of play? What are you looking for from your team this week?
Well, I think going into Caruthersville, I think we're going to find a team that's ready to play. As far as Caruthersville goes, I think when you've beat a team like we've beat Caruthersville the last 3 years that I've been here, they probably circle us on their calendar, their schedule, just like I do them. And I don't know if it was as big a rivalry before I got here, but I've tried to make it one and preach that, hey, this is a big game. It's a conference game, and just for the simple fact that they're just down the road. And every year you're going to get a quality opponent. I think this year's no different. They might have went into Donovan overlooking them. I don't think they're going to overlook us, and they're going to be ready to play.
Well, how's the injury situation with your team after 3 weeks?
Well, we're pretty healthy, except for what I've told you last week about Aiden Tidd and with the mono. So he's obviously still going to be out for a few more weeks. But other than that, we're healthy.
Had some players step in that spot and do well last week.
We had to play a couple different people there, and Evan Parker and Jarrett Pullen, a couple sophomores that pretty green, still a little wet behind the ears, but they're feeling their way out. Evan started, and then Jarrett came in the second half. So those two are kind of battling out for that right tackle position.
Well, Coach, good luck this Friday night. Our broadcast will start about 6:45 over at Hockey Field. Now, they do have restricted seating, so were the Indians able to get seats for the fans this week?
Dr. Leaker has informed me that our cheerleaders are getting X number of tickets, and then our football players, each player is getting a certain amount of tickets. So, those people, parents, grandmas, aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be, each player is going to get some to provide for their family members.
And I think it's the same way with Caruthersville. I think their players get a certain amount of tickets. So it'll be a little different over at Hockey Field. Our broadcast at 6:45 on KBOA AM and FM, and streaming Facebook Live on the Wolf Facebook page. Coach, thanks again for your time, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Joel Wyatt, and you have been watching and listening to the Kennett Indians Coaches Show.